Hi guys, so today I want to talk about the case study teaching English in Indonesia. So, the situation is there is a school that wants to redesign their English curriculum, but the teachers don't agree. Some of them think students should follow British or American English as close as possible, like pronunciation, accent, and everything. But others think students should focus more on using English for international communication, like talking to people from different countries in tourism, business, or even online. So, for the question number one is if we look at this from EFL and World Englishes, Indonesia is an EFL country. That means we don't really use English in daily life. We mostly use it when we need to communicate with people from other countries. So, the goal is learning English is actually communication, not just sounding like native speaker. If you look at a history, English become global because of British colonization, right? And then it spread even more because of the internet, business, education, and also globalization. And now, most people who use English are actually non native speakers. So, in real life, we are more likely to talk to others, non native speaker like, not just people from the US or UK. That's why the idea of world Englishes are more important because it shows that English is not only one type but many different forms. Then we also have EIL and ELF. EIL means English is used globally and different styles are accepted, while ELF focuses more on real communication between non-native speakers where the most important thing is being understood. So, honestly, I think students should focus more on communication rather than trying to sound like a native speaker. Because in real life situation, people care more about whether you can express your ideas clearly, even if your grammar is not perfect or your accent is different. As long as people understand you, the communication is successful. I also feel that if students focus too much on being perfect, they might become afraid to speak, and that can actually slow down their learning. Then, for the question number two, I think not everything in English should be strict. Some parts should stay standard, like basic grammar, common vocabulary, and clear pronunciation, because these are important so people don't misunderstand each other. But things like accent or speaking style don't have to follow British or American exactly. Everyone has their own way of speaking, and that's okay as long as the message is clear. This is connected to the word Englishes, which shows that there are many kinds of English, like Indian English or Singaporean English, and they are still valid. This also challenges the idea that only native speaker English is correct. Then, we also need to understand the difference between language learning and language acquisition. Language learning is when we study rules in class, like grammar. But language acquisition is when we actually get used to the language by using it in a real situation. So, if teachers only focus on grammar, students might understand the rules but still can't speak well. And that's why I think teachers should combine both. In my opinion, students really need more chance to practice using English. because that's how they build confidence. When they try, they make mistakes and keep going. They improve more naturally. So, instead of focusing too much on correcting every small mistake, teachers should create a space where students feel comfortable to speak and express themselves. And then for the last question, I think the curriculum should balance communication, intelligibly, and for the last question, I think the curriculum should balance communication, intelligibility, and cultural awareness. Students need to be able to express their ideas clearly and also make sure other people can understand them, even if their English is not perfect. At the same time, they also need to understand different cultures because when we use English internationally, we talk to people from many backgrounds. If we don't understand culture, it can cause misunderstanding. Some theories can help explain this. For example, behaviorism says repetition is useful, especially for beginners, like practicing pronunciation or sentence pattern again and again. But if we only use repetition, students might not really understand. That's why cognitivism is important because it focuses on thinking and understanding, not just memorizing. And then current theory says students learn better when they get input that is slightly above their level but still understandable. So they can improve step by step. So, from all of this, we can see that students need both practice and understanding. And personally, I think the most important thing is helping students feel confident because when students are confident, they are more willing to speak, try to learn from their mistakes. So, in the end, the goal of teaching English today is not to make students perfect, but to help them communicate clearly, be understood, and feel confident using English in real life situations. Thank you.